Over the past 40,000 years, human anatomy has changed very little. Despite vast differences in technology, science, and culture, our species had already taken on its modern form by that time. However, some scientists argue that there are still certain distinctions between us and our ancestors. The further back in time we go, the more traits appear in their genetic makeup that are characteristic of Neanderthals. Today, we'll explore where modern humans came from and whether we can truly call ourselves Cro-Magnons. The term Cro-Magnon comes from a French cave of the same name, where, in the mid-19th century, the first remains of this type of human were discovered. Researchers found several male and female skeletons in varying states of preservation, alongside tools and other artifacts. In scientific circles today, the term Cro-Magnon can narrowly refer to the people found in that cave or those who lived across Europe between 40 and 10,000 years ago. More broadly, it's sometimes used to describe all humans living during the Upper Paleolithic period. But while Cro-Magnons resembled modern humans, it's important to remember that people from different parts of the world have always exhibited a wide range of physical differences. So, what did the Cro-Magnons actually look like, and which modern races or ethnic groups resemble our common ancestors the most? Early reconstructions often depicted Cro-Magnons as exact copies of modern Europeans, with light hair, narrow straight noses, and fairly slender builds. However, modern analytical methods paint a different picture. The vast majority of these ancient people were likely dark-skinned or even black, with dark hair and eyes. Light-colored eyes among Cro-Magnons were a rare exception. Some believe that the indigenous peoples of Australia and the Pacific Islands have preserved, almost unchanged, the appearance inherited from their Paleolithic ancestors, and there is considerable truth to this. Tens of thousands of years ago, Europe was inhabited by people with stockier builds than ours, flatter faces, and more pronounced chins. Yet, the Cro-Magnon nose was not as flat or broad as that of Australian Aboriginals or many African populations, and their jaws were less prominent. These features developed much later as humans spread across the globe. What's truly fascinating is that the physical differences among Upper Paleolithic humans found in various regions were far greater than the differences among all the people living on Earth today. Scientists explain this by pointing out that people back then lived in small groups, usually consisting of just a few dozen individuals. Most of them were related, so each small group had its own distinctive physical traits. From this, we can conclude that people living in Europe around 30,000 years ago looked somewhat different from modern Europeans, and at the same time, they varied greatly among themselves. Common features that set all Cro-Magnons apart from modern humans included larger, more robust skulls with prominent brow ridges, forward-projecting faces with high palates, and wide cheekbones. Their height could reach up to 6 feet 3 inches, with long limbs. This body type is similar to that found today among people living in tropical regions of the world. It's believed that such a build helped them move quickly and was advantageous for hunting. Cro-Magnons also had angular eye sockets and narrow, protruding noses. One of their most notable traits was a large brain. According to some estimates, their brain volume could reach up to 1,800 cubic centimeters, averaging around 1,500 cubic centimeters, slightly larger than that of most modern humans. Their skulls featured thick walls and a pronounced occipital bone at the back of the head. These characteristics were likely inherited from Neanderthals, who were undoubtedly their ancestors. Neanderthal DNA fragments are found in many ancient remains worldwide. For example, at the Sunger burial site, archaeologists uncovered the skeleton of a man about 5 feet 11 inches tall with broader shoulders than others, a giant believed to have had a significant Neanderthal genetic contribution. However, most Cro-Magnons were lean and wiry, yet muscular, with long legs and relatively short torsos. The earliest remains showing these traits date back between 100,000 and 200,000 years ago, found first in Africa and later in the Near East. Between 40 and 50,000 years ago, these people had spread across all of Europe, actively pushing Neanderthals into less hospitable regions. A little over 10,000 years ago, Cro-Magnons began settling the American continent, crossing the Bering Strait via a land bridge that had formed. From all this, we can conclude that Cro-Magnons living 40,000 years ago looked very much like us. Yet, even among these ancient humans, there was a huge variety of physical differences. Although our descent from Cro-Magnons is now unquestioned, scientists tend to believe that different races and peoples originated from distinct groups within the Cro-Magnon population. The most recent remains of purely Cro-Magnon type date back to between 6 and 9,000 years ago. After that, as various populations transitioned to a settled lifestyle and developed Neolithic farming, they began to develop their own unique physical traits that set them apart from others. This kind of variation, though less pronounced, can also be seen among peoples who remained exclusively hunters and gatherers for a long time. Still, the general features that distinguish Cro-Magnon humans from other ancestors have, more or less, persisted in all modern people. While Cro-Magnons lagged behind us culturally and technologically, in terms of intelligence and creativity they might have given us a serious run for our money. Starting out with simple spears and clubs, they eventually invented and mastered not only the spear thrower but also the bow. They created unique cave paintings, developed burial and magical rituals, and had their own understanding of medicine and possibly religion. Rock art found in the caves of the European Alps, the Ural Mountains, and other Upper Paleolithic sites is generally believed to have held a religious or magical significance. These paintings often depict various animals accompanied by symbols of arrows or spears. Scholars suggest that these images were connected to hunting rituals or initiation ceremonies for hunters. On the other hand, the intricate carvings on knife handles and other tools, as well as decorations on clothing, may have served purely aesthetic purposes. Excavations of numerous ancient campsites have uncovered a wealth of figurines made from stone and bone, along with household items and weapons found in burial sites. Cro-Magnons were also the first to domesticate wild animals. Their earliest companion was the domesticated wolf, from which all modern dog breeds eventually descended. Some researchers believe this partnership greatly increased hunting efficiency and was a key factor in the successful development of these humans. It was precisely these traits and achievements that made our ancestors the dominant species, allowing them to spread across the globe, either wiping out or assimilating their natural competitors. As direct descendants of these ancient hunters and gatherers, modern humans have the potential to overcome future natural disasters and remain the planet's stewards for many thousands of years to come. But to do so, we must learn the right lessons from their history and channel our inherited intelligence and adaptability in the right direction. We thank everyone who watched this video to the very end. If you're interested in the origins of modern humans, you can explore earlier ancestors and various theories of human evolution in our previous videos.